Well, today we are talking amaryllis. So amaryllis is sometimes a flower that people are afraid of, which I don't know why. It's such a wonderful flower, especially for the holiday season. This variety is one of my favorites, and I pronounce it Gervase. I'm not sure if that's how you really pronounce it. It's spelled Gervase, and it's this wonderful, and I forced this one open, so it's not, normally it's a little bit bigger than this, but it's this wonderful white and pink and red sort of randomly displayed petal colors on each flower. Each flower can be different, which I think is really great because it's very unexpected. So normally, amaryllis will come in. Holland is probably one of the largest exporters of amaryllis, even though different parts of the world and domestically you might find them. And they come in these big long white boxes and they look like this. And so I've already processed a few of them over here in this bucket. And I wanted to show you how I process amaryllis. Now, you can streamline this to make it go quicker if that's something you're looking for, or if you only are getting a few, like maybe you're cutting them off your own plant, or you're buying some individual stems or bunches as opposed to boxes. However, you can find efficient ways of doing this. And so let me just show you sort of the end result. What we're trying to do, and listen for the water. You can hear the water draining out of these stems because they're hollow. Amaryllis are always hollow, and the water will literally get sucked right up into that. So when you're trying to design and things, you want to make sure you let the water drain into the bucket. You don't want to get water all over the floor or on other flowers. So this is what I typically do. I like to tape mine, and sometimes some people might think I'm crazy for that, but a lot of times the stems naturally want to split. And you see that in other hollow stemmed flowers where they begin this curling process and cracking process. And even though they'll still drink just fine like that, it's hard to design with stems that aren't real strong. And so that's why I like to keep them taped. It keeps them together. It also keeps the water flowing a little bit easier, and you end up with fabulous amaryllis. So let me show you how I do this. So I'm gonna just pick, here's a random stem, and you can see the buds are showing some color already. And this stem, again, I already said was hollow, and you see how it kind of has this curve to it. Well, if you're using, I don't know what kind of mechanics you might use with amaryllis, like chicken wire or some kind of armature that you create with sticks or branches, or holiday greenery that you might use to create sort of a grid for you to put your stems into. Either way, having this curve is a little bit of a challenge. So that's one thing we're going to try to remove. If you see this sort of pink, I guess I should put it over here, sorry. If you see this sort of pink on the stem, sometimes that's just a sign of a little bit of bacteria. It's not a big deal. Don't stress about it. It's really nothing. Okay, so we have our stem. I am going to take some tape. Now, I use sometimes bulldog tape, but I ran out of that, so I found some, this is little 1/4 inch clear floral tape, and 1/4 inch is really too thin. I actually don't prefer that. This will work just fine in a pinch, but I prefer something that's at least 1/2 inch, just because of the size of the stems. You can see, like, that's gonna be hard, number one, for just to stay adhered to itself, because we're gonna actually tape around the stem a little bit. So this is just some tape that I found. I think it's called washi. Is it washi tape? Anyway, it comes in all kind of different decorative patterns. And we want enough tape that's gonna go around the stem and at least overlap so it can stick to itself. So I've got some scissors, and I'm just gonna cut right about there, and then we've got a piece. Now, if you're doing a lot of this, a lot of stems of processing, I usually try to just cut a whole bunch of them at once, just so I don't have to keep picking up the scissors and cutting a few strips. Now I've got a handy dandy little clipboard here that I am just attaching that on so I don't have to worry about it not sticking in a second. All right, so we have the curve of the stem, and we're going to, again, get up above that because it's gonna be really hard to get that into however you're going to use it to design. So I put a piece of tape on, and now I'm going to wrap it all the way around so that way it is actually sticking to itself. Because in water, because we're going to put this in a bucket, right? In water, that will just keep it stronger. So I like to cut amaryllis with a knife. I feel like it's a much better cut. Being a hollow stem, sometimes scissors will crush. Now these are really strong stems. They're not always this strong. I'm going to talk about something with grading here in just a second. But so I will cut now below, I'm cutting below that to cut that off, and you can hear it just crunch, 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 crunch. There we go. And now it's just ready to go in the water. Now, amaryllis is important for you to understand, come in different grades. Now, first of all, there's the head count. How many blooms are there on a stem? 4, I like 4 the best, because if something's damaged, then you have a spare. Now, I broke one of these off, and I'll break one off to show you here in a second, earlier, because not that there was anything wrong with this bloom, but just to show you. So I'm going to show the flower. I'm going to show you how to do that too. But if it were damaged at all, like it got smashed in a box in shipping, somebody held the box wrong and something happened, well, you can just break this off, and when you have 4 buds, guess what? You've got 3 more buds for, to open up. And that is awesome. You don't want to waste energy with the flower trying to develop this big damaged flower, right? So literally what you can do is you can see each one has sort of like its own stem. Let me see if I can show you that. It's kind of hard. It's kind of a hard angle to show. But there's a stem. I'll pull this. See what you see the stem there? So if this were a damaged flower, and this is going to be painful because there's nothing wrong with this flower at all, but if it were damaged, I would just pop it off. Literally, I stick my thumb right underneath where actually that would be seed if it was pollinated, and I just pop it right off. And it just pops right off. And now, if that had been a damaged flower, now the energy is not going to go into it. The energy is going to go into opening the next largest bud. So when you have 4 buds and you got to remove 1 or even 2, now you've got at least 3 to 2 more flowers to open up, and that energy will go right into there. So beautiful way to just kind of help prioritize for the stem what really needs to open. So I'm going to go ahead and put some tape right on here. I'm just wrapping it around. And the tape doesn't really want to stick to the stem super well, so that's why you really want to overlap it, just to kind of give it some strength. Got to get a clean cut. Going to put the flower back in the bucket. Now, another thing to think about is if you're buying amaryllis like for an event and you need a lot of it, there are different packs. And you might wonder, well, why do some boxes have 18 stems and some have 12, some have 15, some even have 10, some even have 20, depending on the size of the amaryllis. That's what your big indicator is about quality. I know that for a lot, and price point, for a lot of what we do, we use 18 counts, but sometimes use 15 counts depending on the variety. And basically, when the stems are a certain size, you can only fit so many in this box. And so that's an indicator. If there's less stems, there are probably bigger stems, and that's why it's packed that way. If they're smaller stems, then they can get more in there, right? And one thing too to keep in mind is there are mini varieties and some cool novelty varieties that also will pack 20 just because they're much smaller stems. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you is, see, again, we have this hollow stem. And what's really great is on some of the varieties, like these flowers get so big and heavy, or you're doing these big arrangements, and you want to make sure that your hollow stem stays intact, because all it takes is a bump or somebody not handling it right, and the stem will crack or have a weak spot, and then before you know it, it's just like, I mean, it's just totally broken. And so amaryllis can take a lot of abuse if you support them correctly. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape this stem. I'm gonna wrap it on around just like all the other ones. Now see, look, I didn't cut that long enough. So now I need to make, it will burst right there at that point. So you wanna make sure that you put it all the way around. So now I'm just gonna go over top what I already did, and it's all good. All right, now I want to cut this off. I'll cut the stem off here. And there, we've got a good clean cut. Now, one trick that is great just to kind of give you some extra insurance is to take, this is a bamboo stake. So you can take a bamboo stake, you can take a dowel rod, whatever you have. I've used birch branches if they were thin enough, but and long enough, that you can actually put up into this stem to kind of give it added support. Now, the bamboo isn't perfectly straight, and honestly, the insides of this amaryllis stem aren't perfectly straight. So a lot of times as I'm inserting this bamboo stem, I'm just kind of twirling it around just to make sure that we can get all the way up. Look at that. And so now that you can feel I'm at the top. And even if you poke a hole in the stem by accident, just pull your piece of bamboo or whatever out and then just try to readjust. You can sometimes hold that spot and then get past it. And if you get past it and there's a little nick in the stem, it's not a big deal. The amaryllis will still continue to drink. It's very, very tough. So what I would do at this point is I would take some clippers and I would literally cut this off right there. And now it's up in there. It's not gonna, it could fall out if I wiggle it hard enough, but I've pushed it, not like to puncture anything, but just to secure it. And that will go in the water, and that stem isn't going to break at all. It is gonna stand up, and it is gonna be glorious for a big arrangement. And if you're doing a small arrangement, you would just have a shorter pole. Now see, I've wiggled it a little bit, and now it's starting to come out. So don't panic about that, because when you go to put it in your design, it's going to be secured by like the bottom or whatever stems or product that you're using. All right, so there's that stem inside that one, and that's great. And that's all there is. I've got a couple more stems I'm going to do just to show. Let me cut some tape. Now, if you don't use tape, some people would say, well, why do you have to go to all that work? Well, you don't have to, but what happens is these stems, you can see how it's starting to split, will naturally just curl up. You might have seen that before in like calla lilies or something, but yeah, they'll just curl, and it makes it, weakens the stem, and sometimes makes it difficult to design. It's not something you have to do. Like if I were just going to, do something quick, like let's just say for the house where you're just trying to enjoy it, maybe I wouldn't tape it. I would just cut it and put it in a container and enjoy. But because these are gonna have to open and then we're gonna end up designing with them later, whoops, I cut that one first. See, look at me. So you use it later, I want these stems to stay as intact as possible because it just makes it easier to put into arrangements with the intact stem. And that's it. That's all there is for amaryllis. Just remember, 4 head counts you want. You want to get the strongest stems you can. Don't have to necessarily get the biggest stems if you don't need to, you're trying to stretch your dollars perhaps. So the amaryllis have been out for like 24 hours now. And you can tell the pollen is already starting to mature. So we're going to go in here. Now, remember I showed yesterday, it's really ideal if you can pick these little anthers out before they get pollinated because it's just less messy. But I couldn't believe how fast they opened up. And so I've got a few that have some pollen on them. But you're just gonna reach into the center and pull those little puppies out. And we're just gonna go in. And the reason why we're doing this is mostly because once that pollen starts doing its thing, it gets on the petals, and especially in the darker varieties or red varieties, it really kind of messes it up. And the white blooms, they sometimes don't notice it, or you don't see it as much, but it still is there. And so I always like to go in and clean the flowers just to get the maximum impact when we do that. So you can see here where this one starts to open up, and you can see where the pollen has already started. And see this amazing bloom? I would really hate for the yellow pollen to kind of muddy the bright, brilliant colors of this bloom. So I'm gonna go in here. Now they've already got pollen on them. I don't know if you can see that, but they've already got pollen on the anthers. And so I'm gonna get pollen on my hands. That's the way this is gonna work. So we're just gonna go in, pluck that out, and it's clean. And we're gonna let the flowers continue to open. So stay tuned. So 3 days later, amazing amaryllis. So holidays, weddings, after the first of the year, amazing flowers. Look, all 4 of those opened, and what a show. I hope you enjoyed this.